Well, hello, my Tater Nation. It's me, of course, your friendly neighborhood potato. And this is Life Through a Potato's Eye, because it's my speculations on what the frick is going on in the world these days. So I'm just in the ground as a spud with my lots and lots of eyes, liking to see all the interesting things you humans do up top. And lately I've been seeing violence. Amounts of violence that I can't even fathom as a spud in the ground. In particularly one Hasan Piker. Now, we potatoes, we only have one job. That is to grow, to flourish, to feed you humans. We need a good solid root system, good solid foundation. That can't come from anger. So we need to steady ourselves in the winds of confusion. As Isaac Asimov once said, violence is the last refuge of the incompetent. And again, as a potato, I didn't used to tweet. I didn't used to stream. My biggest controversy was being mistaken for a yam at Thanksgiving dinner. But lately, I've been torn. I've been confused on what you humans put up with up top. I'm sitting in the dirt thinking, wait a minute, this gentleman has been roasted, absolutely torched online for animal cruelty. Now I'll show you what I've been seeing.
Kaya, please just stop.
Language, bro. Language. Let alone
Jesus Christ. What
Come
are
on.
you doing?
What are
You're
you doing?
being such a baby.
Who's being the baby? Who's being the baby? Come on. Jeez. Now let's take a look at what I find personally to be more egregious as what he's been calling for in the past.
Well, my understanding is that the property owners who have properties there choose just not to rent it at all.
Yeah,
Result.
in a video game. Sorry. Holy street. Let the streets soak in their red capitalist bloods, dude. Oh my God! In a video game, of course.
In a video game, of course, because if I were to tell my garden worms that I ate all of their cousins in Minecraft, of course, I think they would still move out. So don't get me wrong. Any cruelty toward animals is rotten. But when he says people should be unalived for owning property or being capitalists and refusing to rent out the property for whatever reason that they choose because they own the property, folks just shrug it off, calling it performance art. Buddy, I've seen compost heaps with more consistency than what I'm seeing from this. You can't talk out of one side of your mouth and say that this has to happen and then come back and try to account for it.
Was in a conversation that I was having with a landlord friend of mine, and it's of course hyperbolic, and it's not meant to be sincere. This is not sincere advocacy. It's not a real policy that I would ever advocate for, and that's precisely the reason why when Republicans were desperately looking for any sort of incisive language that they could present, they went back to...
Now this was to a fellow capitalist, essentially. That's what I don't understand, guys. This gentleman, isn't he a Nepo baby? Isn't he a capitalist? Isn't he reaping in all the money that is coming from all of these views of all of these hundreds of thousands to millions of people that he could potentially be influencing with his negative rhetoric? Maybe they don't know him on a deeper level and don't know him on a gaming level. His hyperboles don't land like he thinks they're going to land. This idea that we can just say whatever we want to online and then just go, oh, it was in a game, doesn't make sense to me. Oh, I didn't say it. That was my controller that did it. Sounds a lot to me like, I didn't do that unaliving. That was my pew pew. What? You took the actions, my friends. You got to take the accountability. Accountability has got to come back. You got to stop using the I was gaming to get out of the morality of it. I can't just say, well, I ate all the garden worms in the Minecraft. The worms would still move out and get away from me. So when he calls for violence, it's okay because it's in a game. But yet, when he says it, it wasn't in a game. He wasn't gaming at the time that he said this. This was to someone over a stream, to a fellow about the rentals in the area. You can't say it's satire when you sound like you're auditioning for The Purge. Socialist edition. If you're telling two different stories to two different crowds, how's anyone supposed to take you seriously? Online, face value is all we have. If that face is winking while shouting, nobody knows whether to laugh or to duck. If you're blaming your games for everything now, let me try. Hey, sorry about that famine. Y'all, it wasn't me. It was the harvest moon. Or, I didn't rot in the cellar. It was a storyline choice. See how silly it sounds when a potato says it? If you call for violence while streaming, as long as it's a pixelated background, it's fine. It's just like, sure, I yelled fire in a crowded theater, but it was in my VR headset. Y'all keep bending your logic like this, and you're going to need a chiropractor for your ethics. So you know what my gamer tag would be if I joined this chaos? Well, that would be Spuddy FPS, first potato shooter. But even in the game, I'd still be out there planting peace treaties and handing out compost. Don't get me wrong. Again, I'm not calling for mobs or bans. I don't even have fingers, much less be able to hold a pitchfork. But cruelty is wrong, no matter what it's to. If it's toward animals, it's wrong. It's more so wrong if we're talking about cruelty toward people. People are what hold the world in tow. Rotten behavior doesn't become compost just because it's context. So on the subject of people hurting people, what is this about the government being shut down again? As a potato, I'll admit, it's kind of nice when the departments that spray those miracle growth poisons take a nap. For a few days, the soil breathes again. The worms dance, and the air smells of something other than chemicals. But you know who doesn't get a break? The humans that actually need help. Those that are being supported by the government. And when it's shut down, they don't get the support that they should have. So we've got airports that are without the people they need.
Do I think they're more stressed right now in our towers? Yes.
Right? There's all sorts of different things that can be caused stress to people who should be getting paid, that are on a furlough or a hiatus until they get their back pay. And I realize that they're going to get paid for all of that time unless they're laid off, which there's talk about people being laid off. Is that gone, or is that just a furlough? The folks that test your food, deliver your mail, helping your veterans, either sitting idly by, not with work at all, without a purpose, or not getting paid for that during that furlough. because the rich people in suits can't agree on how to spend your money faster. And it happens almost every fiscal year, from what I can tell. Like clockwork, but more expensive. Some shutdowns last mere few days, right? But some have lasted month to more. And every time it's the regular folk that get mashed, while the rich are dining on the loaded fries. So from down here in the soil, it looks like the plants are growing. But the gardeners, they're asleep at the shovels and hoe. You humans keep saying you're advanced, but every time I look up, all I see is people arguing about who's woke, who's not woke enough, who's too woke. The other half is wondering if the lights are going to stay on in Washington. Those that are going to need the assistance are worried about getting that said assistance. Meanwhile, us potatoes, we're just vibing. No parties, no shutdowns, no hashtags. Well, other than me. I kind of stand out above the rest. That's why, Tater Nation, it's time, my friends. If we can do that, all from being literally buried alive, maybe the folks above could plant a little common sense. Who knows? But for now, this episode of Life Thru a Potato's Eye has been brought to you by Spudnik Crisps. Made with 100% organically confused potatoes, crispy, salty, and slightly existential. Because even snacks are wondering what the frick Congress is up to. As always, please take care of yourselves and your neighbors. You don't know what they're going through. Be kind, always. Inside of the United States, always remember those Second Amendment rights. Your response time will always be faster than that of the police. Stay strapped, my friends. Now, more than ever, it is time for legal, lawful, constitutional carry and a quick defense of the loved ones and the things that really matter in this life. Look, I don't care about your creeds. I don't care about your religious affiliations, your party affiliations, or your skin tone. It is time that the nation comes together again. And if you're outside of this nation, join my nation. If you're tired of the division you're seeing in the world, let's build a nation of our own. Tater Nation will outrank them all. I'm being facetious, of course. But if you don't feel like you fit in, that's by design, my friends. Most people spend their whole life waiting for the perfect moment to feel ready. But here's the truth, my friends. They'll die waiting. Readiness isn't a feeling. It's a choice. It's that difficult, gritty decision you make when no one else is watching. When your heart is racing and your legs are shaking, but you still take that step anyway. Every large move that I've made, I wasn't fully ready. I wasn't overflowing with confidence. I sure didn't have it all figured out. What I have is commitment. I move because it's time. Not because I feel certain, but because I know that standing still is no longer an option. Standing still means ceasing to exist. We've been told this lie that confidence is the fuel that gets you there. This is nonsense. Yes, confidence is strong in the moment, but certainty, integrity, those morals that stay when everything else shakes? That comes only after you've been knocked down and you realize, I'm still alive. I'm still able to fight. I was the child that was overlooked, the one with duct tape shoes, that fire burning underneath, the one that got given a pet rock for Christmas because he had nothing to his name. I carried that chip on my shoulder for years. And I'll tell you something, trauma-fueled ambition will take you far. It's extremely powerful, but at some point you've got to trade the fight for focus, the rage for reason, that loathing for logic. It's because starting with fire is one thing, but to build an empire, that takes peace, that takes purpose, that takes love and understanding. But above all else, it takes patience and time. The winds are shifting. Do you feel it? Because I do. The doors that slammed shut a few years ago, they're creaking open. The dreams we have buried just to survive, they're stretching back toward that light. But here's the clincher. You have to walk through that door. You have to breathe life into that vision again. And when the call comes, you run. No hesitation. Please hear me now. You were not made to be still. I have said it before and I will say it over and over again. Be water, my friends. You were not meant to be anchored. You were meant to move, to build, to fall, and to rise again. Life is about to pivot in a massive way, and it needs you, all of you, fully present and fully alive. No more second guessing, no more waiting for permission. The storm has come. Will you be caught up in it or learn to be part of it? You were made for this. Never back down. Let's build something that will outlast us all. Integrity, morals, and wisdom. If you don't feel like you fit in, you have a place. Feel free to join me. If you don't want to, that's fine too. But know that you're welcome. Just understand that I will not stand for anything but what I intend for my nation. So if you want to get behind that, you're welcome. And of course, if you're outside of the United States, please take care of yourselves the best way that you know how. And feel free to join me if you'd like. For now, your friendly neighborhood potato, signing off.